Hey everybody, Nathan Lumpkin here. It is my second video of the day. Today is January 4th, 2022. As you know from the previous video, I went to the Gastroenterology Associates of West Florida today, and they did a couple of things. Actually, let me backtrack. All right, so what they did was they did a upper gastroscope, and then they did the colonoscopy. As you guys know, I've been suffering from really bad stomach pain and issues, nausea, vomiting for almost 3 years now. And I was finally able to get private insurance, and we were able to actually do the test. Let me tell you about this test. The prep, and a lot of guys, a lot of people have gone through this, but for the people that don't know, this is my first time. This is my first time actually ever having a surgery and being put under. So it was a little nerve-wracking, a little nervous, a little bit of anxiety, but it wasn't that bad. The nursing staff were really nice. But the day, actually 2 days before, in the evening, they want you to load up on laxatives. And then the next day, you can't eat anything. You're on a clear liquid diet. And starting at, I want to say 4 p.m., at least for me, starting at 4 p.m., they had me taking more laxatives, and then this powdered laxative that you mix with Gatorade or Crystal Light or whatever, your drink of choice, water. This particular packet, if you have, so you're having constipation problems, you're supposed to take one packet a day. I actually had to take 16 of these packets and drink them over the course of every 15 minutes until the solution, the 64-ounce solution, was gone. So, you drink 8 ounces at a pop. And let me tell you, when you take a regular laxative and then you take 10 or 16 packets of that other stuff mixed in Gatorade, talking about clearing you out. I won't go into details, but it wasn't fun. So anyway, we got to the surgery center today at 9 p.m. They didn't actually start my procedure till about 11. So I sat there in the gown for a long time, just chilling, taking a nap. I was really tired and felt dehydrated. But I wanted to go over some of the results, which I found pretty interesting. So today I had the EGD, which is the esophagogastroduodenoscopy, or upper endoscopy. And here were the findings. I have hiatal hernia, which I think the VA classifies a lot of the gastric problems and gastroparesis under hiatal hernia, which is a good thing. And then duodenitis, which means I've got an inflamed duodenum. And they also scraped polyps and did some biopsies. The results are pending. He said they didn't look good, but they didn't look bad, but we'll have to see in 2 weeks what the results are for that. Then for the colonoscopy, I had polyps or growths in the colon, and they removed what they could. And then they're also performing biopsies on those. So the good thing is I don't have to go for another colonoscopy for 7 years, because that is horrible. Not being able to eat and drinking that stuff wasn't fun, but at least we're getting down to the bottom of it. This has been almost a 3-year, actually it's been really bad for 3 years, but this has been an ongoing issue for me for a while, and I'm really thankful that we're at least starting to go down the path of trying to get some type of resolution. As I've said in a couple other videos, there's a couple of things that I'm looking at and working with attorneys. One is Gulf War syndrome. It's a lot of undiagnosed issues and problems that they just attribute to the Gulf War. But the thing is with those, you can't have a real diagnosis. It's just like the doctors check you out, try to figure what's going on, but it's inconclusive. And that's basically what's been for me all the way up until now. The second thing is the presumptive issues and problems that are associated with the contaminated water at Camp Lejeune. For those, there's a whole laundry list of issues and problems. You have to prove that you've been at Camp Lejeune for 30 days. Starting in 1953 up through 1987. Now, the good thing about this is it's attributed to, some of it is attributed to family members that have lived on the base. So if you were married and you had your family there, some of those, I think the medical health care, they can qualify for that. As far as the compensation, it's only military members, reserves, and National Guard members. Now what I'm in the process of doing is trying to prove that I was at Camp Lejeune. And it shouldn't be easy, but so far, I mean, I've faxed stuff in, I've written letters. I haven't seemed to get my medical records to the Marine Corps yet, or for the Navy for that matter. I've got some of my Navy medical records, but I need my service records to the Marine Corps to prove that I was at Camp Lejeune and that I was also in the Gulf War. The Gulf War syndrome is another thing. So anyway, hopefully we'll get down to the bottom of this, but we are actually moving in positive territory. And I'm really, really glad that we're starting to get the ball rolling. And really, I attribute this to two major things. Three things. One, being fed up. Getting sick for almost 3 years, not every day, but on some days, I mean, imagine getting sick 30 times a day. Your stomach is in knots. It's horrible. That, finding about the Gulf War syndrome, finding about the contaminated water, I don't think people didn't do a very good job of getting the word out about people that were affected by that, or at least, no, they didn't. And not putting blame on anybody, because that's not the point. The point is, there are people out there that have been affected by these locations, and they don't know that there's services out there that can help them, especially if they're sick. And then the third thing is I want to give a big shout out to Heather for actually helping facilitate. We just never had insurance. You know, I knew that I had the VA, but the VA, you know, it's I'm not going to say anything bad about the VA. But now that we have private insurance, the things that I wanted to get done in the past, tests that I wanted to run, that's taken over 3 years or almost 3 years, we've been able to get in about 2 or 3 months with private insurance. So big shout out to Heather. Thank you. We should have looked into this a lot earlier, but anytime that you look into it and you get the results that you want, it's a good thing. So big shout out there. So anyway, guys, I got to wait a couple of weeks to get the results of the biopsies. But I do believe that hiatal hernia is kind of covered under some of these conditions for either the Gulf War or for Camp Lejeune contaminated water. So, speaking of which, last thing, and then I'll let this video go because I didn't want it to be this long. But one of the nurses that I was talking to there, when I came out of from being put under, was explaining to her some of the symptoms and the problems and stuff that I had. She said that her brother was a Marine stationed at Camp Lejeune around the same time, and he ended up getting breast cancer. And I thought that was very interesting. And she said it was because of the contaminated water as well. So there's a lot of different afflictions and things that we all are starting to experience, 20, 30 years later, that you may not have ever contributed to anything. You just think, oh, it's part of being, old age or it's just a fluke. But these are things that are not running in family. They're not hereditary. And a lot of us from the first Gulf War, and a lot of us, that were in the Marines in the late 80s, or mid 80s to late 80s, and even beyond, are starting to see these issues. The Gulf War syndrome, I just found out, is actually being, it's not just for the first Gulf War and second Gulf War. It's actually, you can still, I think, it's been extended to even now, like 2021, I believe. So look into that, people. Look into it. I'm actually going to be working with an attorney because this is so important and I don't want to be jerked around anymore. So that's the route that I'm taking. You don't necessarily have to do that. They do have VA advocates. I forget what they call the official term, like VSOs or VCOs. There's advocates that actually work with veterans to try to help them file their claims and get the help that they need. I've never worked with one before. I've never even filed for disability. But even if I don't get the disability, I want the health care that's entitled to me because of the exposure that I experienced when I was in the Marine Corps. So anyway, it's an 11-minute video. I didn't mean for it to be this long, but I just want to let you guys know that I'm home. I'm a little groggy, but I feel okay. I'm gonna try to get something in my belly, drink some water, and probably take a quick nap. But I just want to let you guys know that your boy Nate Lumpkin is okay, and I will talk to you later. Peace out.